Okay, you guys. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jeneth Blackert,
And I'm Bianca Reina.
and this is the How to Hustle Morning Show. Today, we're talking about frequencies and how to attune your own chakras.
Yeah.
But first, we have a couple things we wanted to share because
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, on the last show with Suzanne, that show blew me away. If you haven't heard that show, make sure you go back and watch it. It's
It was
just like
so
look,
good, wasn't
she
it?
is so good.
Yeah.
She's so real.
Yeah. And
Afterwards, I
she's so
texted her.
kind.
No, I
Like
just
really humble,
like
kind,
just
a good,
yeah,
you can feel her like genuine just nature.
yeah,
And she's sharing some of the most profound information that I have heard. And she
yeah.
comes from such a very
A
humble
humble
space.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like between her and Suzanne, and we'll have Kinji on Thursday,
Yeah.
you were in a really spacious place.
Man, I'll tell you what, the changes that have been happening for us
Mm.
personally, like there's so many times that Jennifer are like, dude, and she's like, what? Like, oh my gosh, you will not believe what's happening in meditation right now, or the synchronicities. Like, I can't even write this stuff anymore. So just document a lot. And I open my
Right?
records for guidance a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
We really want this to be an energetic show today. And we're just going to follow the energy as far as Leonka doing some Nostradamus and a
yeah,
little bit of light coding.
yeah.
And then I'm going to do some 5D awesomeness with Ormetus. As far as our chakra alignment specifically goes.
Yeah.
We've,
But first up,
yeah, well,
we've got a little bit of Mystic Space weather news. And for today's Mystic Space weather news, it's a little bit of a more somber type of message. And the reason is because the for me personally, I have always followed the weather, and this is gonna sound funny, but I predicted climate change, or however you want to call it. There were just changes in the atmosphere, just through patterning. And I was doing this back in my 20s. And while everybody, was getting ready to dress, getting dressed to go out, I was over there reading the BBC. And I was doing this before the NASA scientists were even allowed to speak to the media, because I could just tell things were different. So the reason why I'm so pulled to Mystic Space Weather News is because there are also changes that happen throughout our cosmos. And one of the things that caught my attention was, I always talk about the sun and I always talk about the solar flares. And I had been sharing with Janet kind of privately some of my things that I follow, and just some of the science that had really come to fruition. I had been following this one gentleman that had been talking about the Carrington event. I'll explain what that is in a second. For the last 3 to maybe 4 years. And I'm like, I don't know. I think he's kind of onto something here. And other things start to show up, because my guides are really good about, and I didn't know this at the time when I was younger, but my guides are really good about putting what is most needed to share in front of me. And then I will find these little patterns, which is how I think I ended up working
yeah,
with Nostradamus.
that's
But
nice.
so I'm going to read this to you, and it's a little bit somber, but there's good news at the end of this, and I'll bring it all right back together, and we'll talk about it later. So it says in Mystic Space Weather News on spaceweather.com, it says, we need Noah. It's only a matter of time. Eventually, a new Carrington event. So a Carrington event is when it was in 1809, when a big solar flare hit a geomagnetic storm hit the earth. And so back then we only had, very limited communications, and it wiped out all our communications and stuff at that time. So all of our electricity, everything like that went down. If we had the same type of event today, everything we do is online. So we saw through that cloud flare, shutdown kind of stuff. It's all of the things that we do, our banking system, our electricity grid, like everything is kind of is compromised, period. I'm just going to leave it at that. So no doom and gloom. We got this. But it did say the Carrington event, or worse, a tech-killing Miyake event will hit Earth. To see that storm coming, we need NOAA. Every credible space weather forecaster relies on NOAA satellites, data feeds, and computer models to anticipate solar storms. Reports of NOAA's dismantling prompted our plea to the U.S. government, please don't break the jewel of an agency just when we need it most.
Mm.
So we do need that reporting. We do need that data. We do need those eyes on the sky, because we are on the lookout for the Carotene event, right? And then it just basically says that we had a solar flare this last night. It was X-class solar flare, which is our largest. We kind of just barely missed us. So we didn't get the geomagnetic storm, but there are some charged ions in our Earth's atmosphere. And to give you that glimpse of hope and that good news, one of the things that really, really came back through as I'm going through these information with the Nostradamus channeling event, or those different sessions that I worked on, as I'm trying to get ready for this workshop that I'm going to do here soon. One of the biggest things that I realized is that first I was scared of Nostradamus. Like I was scared of his like prophecies and stuff like that. And second, he was known for sharing these doom and gloom things, right? But the main thing he wanted us to take away, and he says this with Dolores Cannon's work too, he says that if I share with humanity the absolute worst that could happen, right, that I see as one of the convergence points, as a nexus point, as maybe it might happen in your timeline, right? Then the human brain is so not brain, sorry, thought. Human's thought is so powerful, especially where one or more are gathered. We've seen that in the Bible, right? And he said, if in your sewing circles, because we sew these days, right? If in your sewing circles, if you just as much as create an intention, you can change the outcomes of those harshest, most catastrophic events.
Yeah.
So in our minds today, let's send that Carotene event away from our timeline and away from it, and send it to the light, and just love on everything. We can do this with our intention as one or more gathered.
Yeah.
And that is going to be more of the charge for us as well. And I'm coming up with maybe even an intention circle name, like unified, collective unified hearts. And it's really about alignment project, right? Or something like that. But like something that we can all really get behind really quickly. And see that going away. Yes. And out and send that to the light. Yes. Beautiful. And any intention you have in your heart, maybe you serve that now. Beautiful.
And the
Thank you.
intentions you have for changing to happen today.
Let our hearts be open and willing to receive in fullness with the transformations. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And it's just as easy as that. Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Well, isn't it funny how we've always been like, I didn't say it, I just thought it, right? I remember as a child, my dad was on me about, no, what you even think in your head, that is a sin, because he spoke that language, right?
Yes, I get it.
That's a bigger, that's as big a sin as saying it out loud, basically.
Something came in for me right now. It's 11:11. What he was calling sin may have not necessarily been full out sin, but isn't it a sin to sit there? It's almost like, let's say you had a negative thought about yourself, right? Like that. It's not sin as in, naughty.
You're not going to heaven sin.
Right, not going to heaven sin, but it is a place that is not coming from love. It's not of the highest good. So in that sense, he made total sense to me.
No,
it makes total sense to me.
It does, doesn't it?
Right, because you're not talking from the truth.
No, it's a lie.
Right.
If you're bashing your body in some way, it's funny. If you guys watched my Rewire on Friday, I kept them all up on YouTube. I put them back up if you want to look for them, because this product's becoming a lot larger.
Yeah, I know.
So I thought I would just start, giving you tasters of my work and who I am and where I came from. And so it's all there. But I ended up, when I was talking with Ormetis, it was like, you have to stop fighting your body.
And just so people know,
you break your arm.
that's her channel. So that is her.
So that's my Arcturian channel that came through.
Yeah.
But it's basically, you break your arm and you start fighting yourself and you get mad at yourself and you are like, I can't believe that, and this whole thing.
Mhm.
And the message was very much, well, what if you just see it? It's just a life experience, like the joy of what you really do want. And I thought that was a very interesting awareness around it. So that was a part of Fridays.
Mhm.
It was all about healing the body. There's some,
Nice.
lots of aches and pains and serious owies. And I even put eyes in there for Susan, by the way.
Nice.
So that is a part of what I've been
aligned.
doing lately. So I have a little spot here that I'm calling Morning Brew,
With woo.
except it's got less woo today. You already heard the woo part, man. I wanted to share with you something that I am such a body intuitive, right? And
Mhm. Yeah.
I feel like, my daughter suffered a little bit from it because I ended up, she kept saying she had constipation.
Yeah.
So I'm working on her body with constipation, and then I'm also giving her Western meds to help with it,
Mhm.
to the point that then it was just like all diarrhea.
No.
And we did this for like 3 days, and I ended up intuitively getting, we need to go to the doctor.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so we did end up going to the doctor, and it has nothing to do with her GI tract at all. She had a urinary tract infection. But because
Rosita.
she's 18,
Mhm.
she had no idea what a urinary tract
Yeah,
infection
yeah.
was.
Oh.
And I didn't catch it
No,
right
because
away.
she probably didn't know how to explain the symptoms.
So she couldn't even explain the
Yeah,
pain
yeah,
or
yeah.
other than it was just this fullness in the front. And so she ended up having a fever and
For a
the whole
couple.
shebang.
No.
Yeah, she's had it for 3 days.
No.
And I felt so bad. So, we're getting her help, but with sort of like, I know a UTI in my body, and I'm sure a lot of you do too.
Yeah, me too.
But do you guys know that there is like an instant, almost natural supplement that you can take for
I didn't
that?
know this.
And since I'm a like trained nutritionist,
You are.
that's actually what my degree is in. I like really research all this stuff. So I thought with some of the morning brew, I would bring out some of the real things that really help people that I purchase
Yes.
on a regular basis
Yeah.
to help me and my family. And this also works with dogs. So if your dog is incontinent or just has a UTI,
Mhm.
you can use it on dogs. I haven't checked on cats.
Mhm.
But it's a natural occurring sugar. It's called Domano's.
I love that, Jenna. I
Isn't
love
it
that you're
fun?
sharing. Yeah.
I just felt weird to share when we first started the show, but now I feel like I know you guys. And like I do an all natural remedy for yeast infections,
Well, I mean,
all
it's so
natural for
important.
UTI.
Yeah.
I also take this with like that pure ass cranberry juice just
Yeah.
because I want
Yeah.
to just nip it in the bud. But between that and cranberry juice, if you catch it within like the first day, you're good to go.
Yeah.
So I have linked this in our Amazon shop, which you can easily find on our Instagram account. It's in the bio link and it says Amazon shop or Amazon recommendations.
Jenna's got a book in there too.
And I've got a book in there, and I've got all my book recommendations, and I've
Yeah.
got the heater that
Yeah,
we
yeah.
recommended on the
Well,
Suzanne show.
and
It's
again,
finally
it's
warmer here in
it's all
Texas.
it's all about like what I was talking about on the show. If you didn't see it last week, there's this new trend, and it's all about de-influencing. And basically, what that means is that
Just sharing good
it's
products.
just sharing good products that are better for the and that's what we've always do for each other. And we thought we'd bring that on, because it's products and services that are better for the earth, each other,
Yeah.
communities. I mean, gone are the times in my world are where I want to vote with my dollars, where it's just sending money to like things like fast fashion or always doing the Western medicine. Like
Yeah.
for me, I'm like, oh, let me go grab the antibiotic. I didn't even know this exists until today, Janet. Like I
I
send
should
pics
have-
to you all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. like she's the antibiotic girl, and I haven't probably been on antibiotics since my
Yeah.
appendix was.
But I don't know that kind of stuff, right? So
I know
so
because
helpful.
I'm obsessed with it
Yeah.
because it works just as good as
Yeah.
one antibiotic.
So there
So,
you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's in the wellness section under the Amazon shop. I can put the link right here in the chat, but it's also linked at the top of our Instagram page, which is How Hustle Live. If you're ever looking for other things, or gifts are in there and a bunch of things.
Yeah.
But I just thought, and I'm really specific about what I recommend too. I really do my homework around these things.
Well, I'm glad somebody does.
Especially when it comes to what I'm putting in my body. All right, so we today had a rare opportunity to work with a sound engineer and to create a product for the frequencies of chakras. And then when we got them, we really integrated them with the beyond frequencies.
Yes.
And we are so excited about this because it is just a really unique product that you could have always going on in your background to help support your nervous system, your body, spin and align those
digestive system, all of it, all of them, and even more.
Right.
As we get into it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've listened to them and I'm really in love with them. So that is a little bit of what we're sharing today. But today we're just kind of going to go bliss you out and just follow what the chakras and the guides are asking for the entire audience that are on Zoom, on YouTube, and listening now. So I did write up a little bit about chakras. Just, I knew a lot about them on the surface.
And I did not, except for to know that they were showing up everywhere in all the readings that I was doing. So all that patterning.
Yeah. So I did pull up just a little bit of information about them here. Just so you know, they're called chakra because they have a wheel. They look like wheels in the spiritual mind.
I got that. And I have a little chart, Jenna. But when Jenna said, she goes, "Oh yeah, they're this, that, and this," and I go, "No, I don't have that. Like I have a chart, right? But it didn't do me any good. I felt like." But I do know that I needed to heal them because it's in all of the texts. Like it's in even the Edgar Casey, channeling files. It's in the Law of One. You find pieces of it in the Bible. Like it's a really big thing. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to pay attention to these chakras. But what do I do? How do I do this?
Yeah, well, it's simply going into the various areas, like in the yogic Sanskrit term for like the two, it's like two fingers right under your belly button. It's called the Uddiyana Bandha. And if you pull in there, right, you engage that. They call it bandha in yoga. But that's also the same place that chakra is. So you wake up the chakra a little bit. But what you can do is in your mind eye start spinning that chakra. You can start, seeing the colors of the chakras. The first chakra is that deep red. I don't need to go into all of this. But I did want to just give you some information around it. They were founded in 1500 to 500 BC.
Wow.
They're from the Vedic ancient texts.
See?
Yeah.
See?
And they're a collection of spiritual writings, basically to impart knowledge.
And you think about how much they have to do in order to get us the information today, right?
Yeah.
And anything that they've written down that made it to our history now, right? Like
it's got to be somewhat important.
Super duper important, and it keeps coming up everywhere.
Yeah, and especially it comes back through the, whether you're spiritual channel or galactic channel, like it comes back through.
Yeah.
Like this is pay attention to this. We're paying attention to it.
Yes, yes. And I think it gets a bad rap because people hear the word so much.
Yes.
That
it's just like
chakras, those colors. No.
I know, and that's like about all they think about it. It's the
Right.
frequency of the
I'm
color.
guilty. I'm
It's
so
a
guilty.
frequency of the sound.
Mhm.
It's a frequency of the image, and there's
Yeah.
actually symbols that go
Yeah.
with them. It's the whole shebang. Today we're just talking frequency and chakras.
Okay.
So do you want to start? Do you want me to start and do a little
Yeah, go ahead.
integration? Yeah, go ahead.
And she's trying to throw it over to me.
She's
Yeah, it's
like,
fine.
I'm gonna do some toning.
I am.
Do some light codes and all this good stuff. And I was
Yes.
just like, yeah, well, all right. So if you've been in my world, you know that I've got this work. It's called awesomeness. Just for the lack of a better word, I shared a little bit. I shared a little on Friday, but this actually, when I first was looking for this, I believe it was Ormetus. And, it didn't sound like an English word. So I was just like, came up with the closest word that would match the energy. And that's how it ended up being called
How
awesomeness.
funny. But that is that's actually
I'm
how,
pretty certain that that's how it all came about. So this is
and that's
energy has
common.
been
Yeah.
around since about 2014. I started up by putting my wrists together, and I invite people to first just sense that little bit of sensation
Mhm.
that you have right there on your wrists. And we can get it kind of going with everyone. And once you sense it, and hopefully then it will expand beyond your wrists to kind of this tingle through your heart and up and down your spine. And then it opens up to be more like a rhythm or a thrum, like dun 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 dun. If you followed some of my meditations, you know that I usually have a Sanskrit mantra when we go into meditation. But today, since we're following chakra, I think we are just going to focus on thought alone. So now that we've started up this energy, I'm going to go ahead and expand it out. I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to go ahead and, in your mind's eye, just go on down to where that first chakra area is. And while you're down there, I want you to take this awesomeness and this fifth dimensional frequency and the Arcturian energy, and I want you to invite that chakra to spin and to spin with it and sense it even moving beyond the body.
Mm.
You get so much space down there. And that root is your tribal. So, what is it in your tribe and your tribal family that maybe now it's time to release, let go, and expand out? Let that just spin out. Just see it spin like a top in a sphere. See this dark, deep burgundy red. Really get it moving down there.
Mm. Men have a hard time with this because of where it's located and how the association is with the color.
Mhm.
Just because of women's menstrual cycle, to have that thought. So this is good for masculine. It's actually how you will access more.
Receiving.
Yes.
We haven't really got to receiving yet, though. This is more root. Like it's like a beat in the ground, root,
No, but yes.
earthy. All right, go on up then to your second chakra. It's we call it in yoga that Uddiyana Bandha, and it's about 2 fingers underneath the belly button.
You sound so beautiful when you say all those words. I mean, you always sound beautiful, but
And you go in there and go ahead and spin that, and that's your sexual receiving area. All the places and spaces where intimacy or sex has damaged you. All the areas where you feel that you're holding and you're incapable of receiving because you're unworthy. That starts there, continues in the next center too.
and can we use this to clear past lifetimes or any
Yeah,
lifetime?
this is non
None. Okay.
nothing.
This is everywhere.
This is everywhere.
Got it. Not just me and my body.
Yeah.
Got it.
So all space, time.
Yeah. Wow.
Space, time, space.
Mhm.
We go ahead and spin that. And then go ahead and move on up.
And do they spin a certain way? I know
They're
some.
usually spin to the right.
I know some are clockwise and counter.
Yeah, I think they all spin to the right, actually. I think I once listened to this woman, it's like Judith or Orloff or something. And yeah, she even would start like as a baby, like, you know, how you were smacked on the butt as a baby, like when you know.
Oh, as trauma, like how you take things in your body? Is that what she's saying?
Yeah, she's like, from
Oh,
the
interesting.
moment we're born, if we weren't crying, we were smacked on the butt
Oh,
right then and
goodness.
there. Yeah.
I feel like when some people say that stuff, it probably is true to that, I'm
Yeah, I don't
sure.
know.
But then I get like, oh gosh, did I have more complex? Imagine what was going on in my world. Just trying to survive and feed myself as a as a baby. But wow. Mhm.
All right,
This is yummy, yummy,
go ahead
Beth.
and amp up that awesomeness.
Any questions on the chat while we're doing?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can
yeah, this
read
is
those for
kind of
her.
an open,
Yes.
an open,
Ooh.
like running frequency while we're, just following the energy here.
So I had read and I believe it's every other, it's like the crown will rotate clockwise and then the opposite will, it's counterclockwise and the next one is clockwise. But I'm
Okay,
not
well,
sure
we will
exactly.
do research.
Yeah, I'm not
Mm.
exactly sure which one, but what's really cool is that the product that we are sharing today, there's no thought behind it.
Yeah.
It
Dana
really
said,
does heal.
yeah,
It all on its own.
she says on the chat it's clockwise to change and counter to release.
Oh, okay.
So thank you.
Beautiful. Well, that's probably why we had a little bit of the confusion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. And so again, it kind of brings me back a little bit to like what the frequencies that we're sharing here. I kind of worked around and I didn't know what to do. Like I just didn't know how to clear my chakras. And I'm lucky that I get to sit with a yogi, right? Like a yogi who has all these beautiful words. But even still, you don't even share as much of that because it's just so integrated with you. And so I'm walking around like, how do I clear my chakras? Like, like what's gonna happen to me if I don't clear my chakras? I do not like that. But like when we started to research these beautiful frequencies, I thought, oh my gosh, like I could just have this on and know that it's doing the healing work that I don't have to think about. And I mean, yes, I do love learning and spinning and working with the energy because I really think that is how we get free. But if you are just wanting to and sometimes your mind doesn't let you, right, release something, the frequencies talk directly to our subconscious and goes like almost bypasses. It's probably why they call it rewire.
Yeah.
Right? It goes straight into to the healing source.
Yeah. All right, and move on up to the third chakra. It's kind of yellowish orange. It's right at your solar plexus.
Mm.
That one, it has a lot to do with worth. A little expression, but not verbal expression. That's higher up on the throat. And go ahead and see that spin, whichever way you want, clockwise or counterclockwise, whatever your body is asking for.
There you go.
Ooh. And
Mm.
the question that you can release and ask here is, what is it that I still don't totally accept about myself? What is it that I'm not acknowledging but know is true? Ooh, that's a strong one for you guys. That's a good one. Spin, spin, spin. Spinning chakras. Sorry, I've been bad at admitting people. All right. And it's just going to get more intense from here, you guys. Because we're moving up to the fourth chakra. Or the...
I'm like, why haven't you shared this with me before?
No, juicy.
You've been holding out, girlfriend.
Because I did so much in yoga all the years, I was done with it.
I was like, this
And then when we had a
Man.
chance to do chakras, I was like, whoa.
I'm gonna stay in this energy for a while. My goodness, it's wonderful. No, it really, I feel.
And this is truly a fifth dimension.
Yeah, for real.
Lovely energy.
It is wonderful. I think the blending of working with the awesomeness and utilizing it to actually work on the chakras is really beautiful.
Yeah.
And I feel it. Like physically.
Everyone feels this. Usually.
That's what I mean.
It's kind of awesome. That's why it's called awesomeness.
I know. But I mean like physically, like, oh, it's crazy.
All right. Go ahead and move to that fourth. Joe Dispenza calls it four. Because when he does the blessings of the energy centers. Really connect with your heart. Connect with others. This is your place to forgive. What is it? And who is it that you haven't forgiven?
Even if it's yourself.
Yeah. Where is it that you can offer more love? Where is it that you want that relationship? And list all the characteristics that are in it and become it. Okay, let's let this spin just a second longer. Again, this is not just in your body, but outside your body and all around your body.
And I'm curious if there's anything coming up for anyone, any blockages, especially as we get closer to definitely in this area, or any pings or pains that feel is just trying to get your attention. You can either write it on the chat or let this be really fluid if you wanted to ask a question.
Is it just me? Do y'all also get that sense of oneness when we run this? Like, I truly feel connected. Just spin, spin, spin.
I'm gonna be tips of that.
Linda said in a beautiful flow. Yeah. All right. From your heart, go ahead and move up to your throat. There may be some coughing. There may be some.
Is that why I coughed?
That is a clearing. That's usually my noise when I feel like I'm holding back. Like I don't actually make that out loud, but
You feel that
I
that
feel like I need to make that noise sometimes. When I spin this, it comes out. But
how has she been holding out?
go ahead and like really move on up to that next chakra. Go ahead and fall in love with your voice, your expression. And even if you can't fully speak or express, what you can is stop fighting it and start really honoring the silence. What is it that you know you should be expressing that you aren't expressing?
And expression can also mean outside of using your voice.
This one specifically is about voice, though.
But what if someone doesn't use their voice?
Well, that, yes, that this
So
will also
wouldn't then
help
have
that.
the expression could also come in the form of writing or expressing yourself?
Yeah. Well, I think all of these kind of come with expression because your solar plexus is usually the reason where it's been shut down. So you don't feel like you can.
Yeah,
Like
so
we were these little children that we were like, no,
mm.
shh. But now we can be the adults that shush our children.
I'm just shushing that negative Nancy that tries to come up in my head.
Yeah.
Or actually loving. I would take that back, not shushing, loving that because there is a reason why it exists. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and then moving up to the third eye and the pineal gland, which is right between your eyes and about an inch in. And the pineal gland is a little bit further back into the center of the head. This focuses on both intuition and touching the quantum entanglements, as well as a lot of your facial features as well. Go on up there, take this energy and spin. Spin, spin, spin. With all of these, Shara said, I asked for discernment, and I think that that is appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for all of these.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, when you know that you know. This is also the sixth chakra is the one that works on your intuition, connecting with the quantum entanglements. And
Well, if you're quantumly entangled, you're always quantumly entangled.
I just think it works a little bit better when you've got that pineal gland going a little bit better.
I think because it happens with intentionality.
Mm.
It's kind of like when people say they cut the cords, we're always entangled. It's just where we put, it's just how we utilize those cords.
Mm. And then lastly, we'll move on up to the crown of the head. And see it, I see it above the head.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like here's a story you might not know, but the Buddhist monks, they used to, as babies, put little things in the top of their head, like a little twig or something, so that that wouldn't completely close up because that was
Oh.
thought as how they touched the divine. Yeah.
That's funny. Because when our head fuses, the four parts of our skull fuses, so they put something to keep it
Keep
from
it
fusing.
confusing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I
I think some of them still wear little twigs out of their heads for that, like it's their whole lifetime.
Well, I do know that when we work with Joe Dispenza's work and he has us really put our intentions on the pineal gland, it does become aware of obvious to me.
Mm.
So I think that they, by having that there, it just reminds them to, like
All day,
more than
all day, all day.
right. More than, I mean, I believe that, or I know that we just as easily have that access. But they're just reminded,
Yeah.
right? Especially if you have something sitting there.
Just amping up awesomeness.
And I think that's a reason why you have that indication where you see a lot of spiritual people put something here so that
That's
they can
what
have the
we
third
can
eye.
have third eye.
And it is it's a way of having that, you put your intentionality back there, your focus back there.
Mhm.
Not that you have to have the dot too.
Yeah. So for whatever reason, I did this on Friday's call, but the circle, golden circle around us is kind of coming through again. So go ahead and just envision this golden circle just kind of coming around you to guide you to awaken your knowing, to awaken anything that's keeping you from really awakening these chakras and awakening these centers for the greater good of you.
And all of those who are connected to us.
Wow, wow, wow. And when we're passed through, just looking at everything as a radiant, sparkling color, look at it even glowy more. As we go through it, if do you want to do some sound coding?
I didn't want to interrupt.
Why don't I start at a chakra and you code it? Want to?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. All right, you guys, go ahead and start down there at that root chakra.
And breathe. Just breathe right in there. And release. For me, this is my one that's most needing the attention. So you can hear channel working with me because channel's already changed my voice. And I work with the Galactic Federation of Light. But right now, so if I was to show you, I'm sitting straight up and my butt's kind of sticking out and my chakra is like really, really engaged. And it's because my channel knows that I need to work in this area. And so whenever you get these amazing energies running through you, uh, they'll start to work with you automatically. And especially as you're channeling, then you're like, whoa, okay. Because spirit, your higher self, you've invited your higher self to heal your body. And so you'll have spontaneous healing, especially like in QHHT. The reason why lots of people come is because of the spontaneous healing. But it's not spontaneous, it's really working with the spirit, your higher source. So there is a message that comes through for all of us here, but still working on me.
That area, that first banda is between the genitals and the anus. And if you go ahead and close that and pull up on it,
Yeah.
that is, and that'll also help your urinary tract.
So as you heal and as you move through the body, contract and release, inviting the spaces of love into each area, no matter where it wants to roam. Releasing all forms of thought and allowing yourself to truly be in the essence. And even involuntary movements that occur for when your message comes through, it comes through your body first. Many a times you will know things in the body before you have even acknowledged it in your heart or your mind. And this is because your body is connected to source first, not separate of you, but its abilities, and two, how it receives most important messages for you and the betterment of all mankind and throughout the cosmos. We will breathe here now, for this area is mainly the most sacred, but it is held separate from many of you for of the area of the body that it is. Many relate to this area and would not want to look upon it with love. Send that love to this sacral space. Heal and ask for more healing here from your higher source. It is a very intimate exchange. And breathe. There's nothing more needed here at this time in this space. But we invite you to be with this area more often. And more often than any other area in your body, for just at least one consecutive day after day. Really giving it the honoring that it so desires from your soul. For this is the area many would choose to separate themselves from because of, again, where it is located in your body. Many refuse to even acknowledge it. And many have even struck this area down, casting darker spells upon these areas of the human body. Today, with the new emergence of all of the light pouring down into you from the highest realms, we would need you to open and unlock this space as well, and with as much intensity, if not more, held for no less than 7 consecutive days. Thank you. And thank you for allowing me to share that.
Let's do one together as well. Go ahead and take a deep breath in and exhale fully first. Get your breath for this one. And inhale again fully, and we will Om. Wow, that was fun.
Mhm. And if you feel called to do it again, do it again. For it is how your body releases and changes its frequency. And take another deep breath. Find where you feel your higher self wants to communicate with you. It doesn't have to be a loud sound or huge inkling within your body, but there are signs that happen here for in this channel. This body has the desire to open the throat chakra. So it will show her as a closing of the throat chakra. It almost feels like a tightening because it is calling out to her. You will have these same experiences in your body as well. Sit with those, and for no less than 7 days, do this clearing. And if you want to or need to, but be in the space of opening and acknowledging that part that is most calling out to you. And you will feel that. And as you sit with it, day after day, you will even know that you will go beyond the healing to the receiving. And the receiving is where you activate and share your highest form. In your words, psychic abilities.
Mm.
So loud.
I was getting the when you were doing that. That was cool.
So for my expression is in that way. Yours might sound differently or feel differently. It would come in waves. If your arms want to move as you're spinning, that helps with your expression. And this is the expression of the new earth.
Wow.
Mm. And that is the expression of you.
Yeah,
Yeah. I would play with that even more.
I know.
Yeah. Nice. And we will close with that now.
Yeah.
But invite you to sit with those areas for no less than 7 days.
So funny. I said that like 4 times. 7 days, 7 days, 7 days. God created the earth.
I didn't even think about it much.
This, of course, will be on YouTube, but I'm also putting both the video and the audio in this new little package that we've worked with a sound engineer to create. If you have our frequencies program, that's $8. The same man created this, but it's very different
Yes.
because it has like true, I went into each one and added some of this awesomeness with it. And it's specifically created with the hertz of each chakra. I'm going to bring it up and just show you what it is. And we feel we went back and forth around the price point, but we wanted to.
Because
Bianca twisted
honestly,
my arm and
well,
said,
it is worth a lot more than what we have here, right? So like I was like, oh yeah, I was on the I could see your point, right?
right.
But you're right, go ahead.
But
I did twist her arm.
So I was like, I really think this needs to be a $97 product. And it probably needs to be reduced from about 150 or 175. And
At
we
least.
decided to reduce it for you guys. I don't know how long it's going to stay reduced, but it's 27 today because we wanted to almost gift it to you guys, but then we put a lot of
Work into
work
this.
into
Yeah.
this. So when you go down here, I put a little bit in it about the benefits. Some of the older testimonials from me and my work are in here. But we did put these little links in here so that you can listen to them just to see how well they're done, how you receive them. And then, of course, like all of them are written up and they're written up in a specific way that, I mean,
Even
and it really tells you, here's what tuning, and I bolded all those.
and the way we've laid it out, like, and we had our web designer, put this all out there. The way it's delivered, it's super easy for you to go and see how it's like, choose the thing that you think that might be intuitively calling for you that
Yeah.
day, right? So that my throat was calling me today. I may not have time, and I know it sounds bad, but to sit and be with it. Now I will do the 7 days because that's what was that was prescribed for us, right? But I may not have the time, but I know that there's something going on really, really profound here, something that will even help me, right? Like, but even more so the healing. So I will go here and I can look at this and say, okay, what is my body asking of me? What chakra is asking of me? And then I'll choose that chakra to play in my background for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how it's even changed like some of my doom and gloom day, like, right? It was the immediately I mean, I was having better conversations even with some of the people, our partners, by the end of working with it. So anyway, just that is how we laid it out for you to be able to work with it really easy. And we wanted to make sure it was really sweet and one of those things that's like not hard work, or you don't have to fish it out and you don't have to like sort through anything. We wanted it to be like, well, I think for me, I wanted to make sure people just knew that this is something that you just go to.
Yeah.
And that's why the pricing is the way it is, right? Like, just wanted to make it like a no-brainer, like, yes, and I have this, like, even if I want to get better or if I want to heal, I don't have to think about it. I just want to put this on and let it be with me for the day, right? Let it be with me while I work. You don't even have to have it like playing loud. You have it in your space, kind of like what Courtney Levin says, the energy changes you. Now it is more beautiful if you can have it in your speakers and your headphones and maybe you meditate to it or you sit with
It is in stereo. So
Yeah.
if you can have some.
Yeah. It has the back and forth and it is very beautifully mastered done.
Yeah. Um,
Oh, beautiful. And so, yeah, somebody's writing here saying that there's the mantras you can chat for each chakra. When you combine that intentionality with having this, the frequencies on in the background, it's like, it's like it expands that, it carries it forth, and then it carries it to places in your subconscious we don't even know how to reach sometimes, lots of times, right? We always hear
Yeah.
about those programmings.
Well, look, I get that you can have this like almost on like number one
Yes.
on your
Yes.
volume.
Yes, and I
Like
have.
it can be just going on
Yeah.
the frequency
Yeah.
behind you.
I do that in my house, like if
Yeah, I
Ryzen's
usually
like,
do
yeah,
too.
so they don't be like, "What are you playing, mom?" But it creates a peace, and I know that like sometimes if Ryzen's not feeling that good and stuff,
Yeah.
I can put this on in the background, and it has that healing. And next thing you know, even the dog's coming over and being friendly. Like,
Yeah.
I know I'm kind of being funny here, but like, I think that's the power of, gosh,
A frequency.
yes.
Yes.
I
I
mean,
mean, if everything is frequency. So
this is like what the ancients gave us as gifts.
yeah.
This information, the channel, all the channeling thing, you can change everything with just even sound. And I mean, sometimes we just want to make things so, I do, sorry, I want to make things so difficult. It can't be that easy, and
Well, I got caught on a call saying that. So
right, you easier said than done. But we don't know sometimes that those are like our hidden blind spots.
yeah.
And this is what helps to get past all that. Like it just kind of uses that back door.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not kind of, it does.
No,
It does. And these are all the secrets that the Vedics have been trying to share with us.
I know.
I,
We've been ignoring
yes.
because we're Western culture and not Eastern.
Even
But even the
so,
Eastern, I don't
yes,
really
right.
like lives this.
I mean, and that's the invitation of it all. Like if when we go and create new earth and we do this collectively, these are the energies and the ways of being that we're being invited and joyously being invited to.
I think the ways of being.
Yes.
Definitely.
Everything's gonna change anyway. Why not have us create in the way and space that we want to have the world be? And it's gonna change fast, like in the next couple years.
Yeah.
These are the ways that I'm being shown that we can be ahead of the curve. It helps us to navigate. It helps us to be in joy, right? It's kind of weird to say I'm going to be in joy when things seem very odd around you, but it's really about rejoicement because we're remembering because of that remembrance. And the remembrance is like you it's like becoming a member again, reminding yourself that you're a member of the unity of the oneness. And as you do, that is when your heart sings like that song, then sings my soul. It's like that. And that's the messages that I really, really receive with empowerment. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like if we can't do anything but lower your nervous system so that you're not in this high vigilant state all day long.
I mean, if you're not
probably,
yes,
decrease your stress,
Janet,
make
that
you
is
a little
so
more
true.
resilient. I mean, that is like the biggest killer is stress. So this is your invitation to chill out.
I'm not above those moments too. There are times where I'll be whisked right back into the 3D.
Yeah.
And it is real hard to think about New Earth and creating it being about everybody whenever.
When a crisis is
Yes.
happening or trauma.
Yes. And these are the,
Trauma.
yes. And having a quick, easy way to even just neutralize for a second.
Yes.
Can help me from not going down that spiral of down, because it can be real hard. And I've had those moments where it can be real hard, days upon days to come back to even neutral.
Yeah.
If I've spiraled.
Yeah.
And I don't choose that anymore. But life can have its turns. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
You got to find the magic.
So with that said, I just put that link in there. I put the link to the Amazon store in there, and I put the link to our Instagram account in there because this month, Leonka and I are trying to get you guys to get to know each other. And we're hoping we can do that by asking you like little simple questions. They're not like too in depth about your
What was the last question you asked? You said,
if spirit could say something today, what would
if
what would
your
it tell
higher
you?
self, right? So
Yeah.
if your higher self could tell you something today, what would it tell you?
Yeah.
And mine was like, girl, keep going. We got this.
Yeah.
We got this. You know, we got this.
Mine was very similar to that.
I was like, all
So
right.
Lianka and me and How Hustle,
Yes,
we responded to that one, but we would love if you guys would also contribute because
Yeah.
we want to get to know you in other ways. I'm really with our Mystique Society, which is our inner circle. I'm working to create a real forum for them to share.
Mhm.
But I figured if they won't even get on a link to communicate in that way, then why am I making them a forum? So first I sent them a message to see if they would start playing with us, and now I'm just opening it up for all you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
I just like to
No, yeah, this is a community.
And some of you show up like every single week and
We're
every
super
single
grateful. Yeah.
so you know us
And I think
now.
about y'all, right? Like when we think
Right.
about y'all and your questions whenever we're like planning for the next shows. And so I mean, we're very much in each other's exchange.
Sure. Yeah.
You're entangled.
I know we're too entangled.
So want to know you.
We send whispers across the
Yeah.
way. Then you guys are like, but then you're absent. So that's an invitation as well. I would love if you would, if it feels light for you. I don't want this to feel like work or
No,
effort.
and
It's
also
really just to create community.
or also you can do that on YouTube too. So if you're not an Instagram person, definitely comment in YouTube. I mean, we
can
we can use definitely use the algorithm help there, but just and shameless plug there. So like and subscribe. But the truth is that when we know more about our audience, when we know more about what's calling your soul, we can bring out more things. Yeah, bring more attunement for that.
Yeah, we can become more of a community and do this with you instead of you. I didn't know how to respond to that.
I just saw monkey chunking. So goofy. I love it. And that's another thing. I really love that we're just like a non-judgment space. Like we can have the most
ridiculous conversations.
Yes. But take it that far, and then someone else is like, yeah, I had that experience.
Yeah.
And it's like a real place of love. Like, I mean, there's so much encouragement that happens when we have some speakers and some person has like raises their hand and other people are like, yeah, they don't feel there's no, I mean, I haven't experienced that on this community and show.
No.
Yeah, and I think it's because we keep saying that, like, come here, no judgment, and be of love. Like, let's just
I'm sure we'll eventually get judged.
Oh yeah, whatever.
It's funny, my daughter who's 18, her boyfriend ended up watching one of our shows.
Okay.
And she was like, no, he thought you guys were cute and it looked really good. And that's about all he said.
Okay.
I was like, thank you.
His 18-year-old male does not, it's not screaming 18-year-old male. But we'll have it. We'll take it.
Yeah,
We
it
are
is
bringing
nice to get some of the men in here too.
Absolutely.
Despite doing everything very pink.
Yes, because holla, we hold the space.
Yeah. And all you men are invited to Mystique Society too. I put all the links in the link tree on Instagram, by the way. Now, I just did that yesterday. So if you are looking and you feel like you've missed something, those chakra programs there, the frequencies is there. We've got the Amazon shop. We've got now some of the great shows, they're curated on the podcast. So it's we've got the podcast links there. So if you'd like to listen on podcast instead. Plus it takes out all our ums.
Oh yeah, we get to do the good editing.
That's a good editing on that. Or if you just want to re-listen to something, of course, there. Most of them are on the podcast. Not everything.
And I always say like too, like if you grab it off the podcast, like there's the areas where I mean, most every speaker comes on and does an activation.
Mhm.
You literally could keep that on loop and the podcast, right? And just kind of have that playing in the background as well. Like it's almost like you get another prescription. You just kind of look up. Basically, we have so many that you can just kind of type in what's going on for you, and you're probably going to find an interview about it.
Mhm.
So, wow,
Yeah.
that's what a whole year will do.
And if you are on YouTube and you don't know where these newsletters are coming from, you can find that at houthustle.com. And at the very bottom of all our YouTube, we've got a lot of the links as well. If you're just missing something, or of course, you can always email us.
Yep, at team@houthustle.com. We always like to remind you that we do have a portion of our proceeds goes to riseandup.org. They just do refurbished laptops and tablets to give to children and women or anyone that's really needing a device.
Technology to
Yeah,
email or
for
resumes or something.
yeah, for education and safety and wellness. Because I always say that if I didn't have this online space, I don't know that I could have been this healthy. Like it really took for me to be able to connect with people like you to learn how starseedy I was.
Yeah.
And also I really invite you to visit the marketplace because not only do we have some cute tchotchkes and fifth dimensional typed
Hypnosis, yes.
yes, I was gonna say, but I was gonna talk about the necklaces first because you know the necklaces are cute. But we do have the hypnosis of really what the important thing is there. It's all of this. Yeah, we got some hats. But the real thing is that we have almost for anything that you have an ailment for or just a needing around, whether it's lose weight or addiction, you know, they're priced really, really well. But the important thing is that they really help to
Work.
yeah, they work. For lack of a better word, yes,
I've been
work.
doing this a long time.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm all trying to
I
be-
may have
I'm
taken
trying
a
to-
break in between, but I've been doing it a long time.
I'm all trying to be like the humble. She goes, no, my stuff works, girl.
There's one on addiction. There's one on weight loss. You know, those are kind of the tight ones. But if you are having trouble with focus or being present in your life, there's a really good one for that. I did one for, you know, social media anxiety for us, called social selling. So there's a bunch on there. And if you have questions about them, because they're not named like the ailment, except for the weight loss and the addiction, I think.
Yeah, but take a
in
look.
general, they're deeper than that, a little bit deeper than just the ailment. It really takes you on
That's
a
what she said.
journey.
And also, so I guess as we're coming to a close of this show, next Thursday we have Kenji Kamara come back on. He's actually channeling the Arcturians as well. So I know that you have that's going to be a really fun exchange for y'all.
Some of that, I haven't talked with him about that, but I noticed that he's doing an actual class on that. So I thought, yes, let's see what that's about, which might be why I've had such a connection with him over the years.
Oh, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
That you know, and he's so like, talk about humility.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah. He's just kind of like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
He probably can channel like all.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm so sure he's so humble. Like this, yes.
He doesn't make it significant.
No, no. And I think it's because he's just been being it for so long. He forgets how much of a surprise it is
for us.
Yeah. That are, you know, just journaling and journeying. And then also next week we have on Tuesday, we have Jen Haddix and she will be on. She talks about Akashic records. She's an intuitive healer. She actually had Janet on her show just recently and they had a good dynamic and we invited her to be here with us and she came on for the rewire and was very spectacular, super engaging. She's one of those that like really gets in there and she will get your attention and she will get your soul's attention too. If you want to try to check out on this one, don't.
She's quite the adventurer too. She travels a lot. Just wants to see things, say things, be in the world. So
she probably lives very present, huh?
Yeah. Seems that so.
Like what's going on here? What do I want to choose for me?
Yeah.
And I want to try to get around more people like that. You know how they always say like you are the collection of the 5 people that you hang around most. And so, maybe being around her in that interview, or kind of just taking in a little bit of that adventurous spirit, or just, hearing the thought process of someone that kind of, I feel like it has a space where it's like, okay, Lee, you can do this too. Because sometimes I'm a little more closed off and everything has to be a little more structured. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know about structure anymore, but I think we have enough structure.
No, I totally agree. That's what I was trying to say. Like, if I want to invite more of her energy into my world. I'm kind of done with all that structure.
All right, you guys, just a reminder, the Mystique Society meets on Wednesday, the second Wednesday of each month
So
at
that
4 p.m. Pacific. And
that's next week. And then also for your rewire, you won't be on
it won't be on
tomorrow,
Friday.
but we'll
No,
be back
that's
on
Friday. Tomorrow is not
Oh my gosh,
Friday.
I keep thinking today's Thursday. Yes, you won't be on Friday, but you will be back next week.
I will be back the next week.
Yes.
And I will probably go another 3 or 4 Fridays, depending on where this program wants to take me.
Well, jump on the ride.
Yeah, totally.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, this was fun. All right, see you guys on Thursday, and you have a great couple days. Bye-bye, everyone.